deadly confrontation in Ukraine could mean the end of a major city. We'll explain.
The critical issue of mental health for our athletes is a top priority. We have the story.
Gas leaks are confusing North Texans. I'll explain later in the show.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Nathan Mayer.
And I'm Michelle Brooks. Surrender or die. That is the ultimatum from the Russians to the Ukrainians still in the city of Mariupol. And tonight, in an act of defiance, those people are refusing to give up, knowing the deadly Russian attack is at hand. CNN's Mike Valero has more.
Smoke billows from Lviv, once thought as a refuge where thousands of families fled from Russian atrocities. Now, the western Ukrainian city near Poland grieves its first reported fatalities of the war. 4 missile strikes hit Lviv, killing at least 7 people. The blast wave shattered windows in a hotel where internally displaced Ukrainians were staying. The fighting is also intensifying in the east, where Tamara shelters with her grandson in Severodonetsk.
A lot of people can't leave this place because of problems with health, and they don't have enough money.
Ukrainian forces in Mariupol rejected a weekend ultimatum from Russia to, quote, surrender or die. Ukrainian troops are now surrounded within a massive steel plant, the last known pocket of resistance in the key port city.
The situation is very difficult in Mariupol. It's clear that things won't get better.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tells CNN's Jake Tapper Russian forces took thousands of children from Mariupol, and it's unclear where they are now.
About 5,000 children deported from this region to Russian side because they didn't allow them to go to the Ukrainian side, I mean the Ukrainian control side. Yeah, that's it. So we don't know what is with their children. Where are they?
He adds Ukraine won't give up any territory in the east as a new Russian offensive is expected there in the coming days. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Tonight, good news for North Texas. Late this afternoon, a missing teen was found safely in Oklahoma. 15-year-old Natalie Kramer disappeared from the American Airlines Center on April 8th while attending a Mavs game. She left her seat to go to the restroom but never returned. Natalie was missing for 10 days and found safely today with no injuries reported, but this is still a developing story.
Nathan, we had a bit of a scare at UNT last Friday. Apparently there was a gas line leak.
Yeah, a construction accident clipped a line, but it was resolved safely and quickly. But there seems to be a rash of natural gas leak reports in our area.
ntTV's Christine Guevara has all the information you need to know about this incident. Christine?
That's right, guys. Thankfully, UNT took the right precautions to keep everyone safe. But recently, gas leak reports are coming back as dozens of Atmos customers are smelling natural gas in their homes and businesses. There were a total of 233 calls from the DFW area, but this came to be a false alarm by Atmos, who put too much mercaptan in the lines. Now, this is a huge problem because high concentrations of mercaptan can be very toxic, according to the CDC. But luckily, there were no reports of danger to the public. An Atmos spokesperson said that there were no active evacuations and stated, quote, the safety of the public, our employees, and our system is top priority. And we want to thank our local fire departments and Denton County Emergency Services for their support, and the residents who did the right thing by calling our emergency number. We are responding to every odor call and will continue to do so as part of our vision to be the safest provider of natural gas services. Now, Atmos announced that they will soon burn off natural gas in the DFW area to safely remove that odor. Now, if you ever suspect a gas leak, immediately leave that area and call 911. Back to you, Michelle.
Thanks, Christine. Hopefully Atmos can get this issue under control soon. One thing that certainly seems to be under control in North Texas are temperatures. I know y'all enjoyed those sunny skies today. Let's check in with our weather anchor, Justine Ahrens, to see if we can expect this warm weather to continue. Justine?
Thanks, Michelle. Well, I will say, as for the temperatures, we should continue to see those high temps, but for conditions, I would keep an eye out on them. Right now, it's looking great. It's 71, feels like 71 as well, with a northeast wind speed of 16 miles per hour. Then on to tonight, you can expect it to cool down a bit, feeling 50, feeling like 48, excuse me, and then with the east-northeast wind speed of 15 miles per hour. On to tomorrow, you kind of see some clouds come in. It's going to be 75, feeling like 71, with a southeast wind speed of 20 miles per hour. That's all I have for right now, but tune in for a full report later on the show. Back to you.
Thanks, Justine. As an Olympian, one of your most prized possessions are your medals. For one certain Olympian, their most prized possession disappeared. CNN's Jeremy Roth has more.
3 Olympic gold medals stolen from a vehicle in Texas appear to have been recovered, and the owner's car may have helped crack the case.
This is the camera that really picked it up.
Paralympic gold medalist Jen Lee says surveillance cameras on his Tesla recorded a man breaking into the car and swiping a backpack containing 3 gold medals, which Lee had won at separate Paralympic Games as part of the USA sled hockey team. Lee shared the footage of the incident on social media, where it quickly went viral, much to his surprise.
I had no idea this part became like a wildfire.
Working with San Antonio police investigators, it didn't take long. At least, that's according to the police chief, who tweeted that the backpack and the precious medals had quickly been recovered.
It is definitely one of those, like, I'm really, really super thankful for that.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
The DFW airport has a special departure on Wednesday this week. This annual event honors recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor, which is a prestigious award given to those in the military. The caravan will start at the DFW airport, pass through Denton area through I-35, and end in Gainesville. Over 500 vehicles will be involved in the procession that will depart around 4 p.m. While this is an amazing event for those being honored, Denton residents or anyone that lives along I-35 east and west should avoid driving from 4 to 6 p.m. due to expected vehicle congestion.
Coming up, mental health can affect many of us, including collegiate athletes.
And we'll show you thousands of kids having an excellent time. Don't roll away.
Listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water run, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
For most college athletes, sports is an outlet, a way to forget the worries of the world, pressures of school, everyday life, and just enjoy the love of the game. But sometimes even sports can become a lot for a player to handle. There can be constant pressure from coaches, teammates, and even themselves. Especially today, with so much criticism and influence on social media, athletes are finding it hard to be at their best all the time. In this series, we go in depth with collegiate athletes about struggles they've faced within their sport. Tonight's episode highlights Quincy Noble, a UNT women's basketball star with a bright future.
I was so sad, like I wasn't good at my craft, something I worked so hard for, and I kind of lost myself.
Quincy Noble, one of the stars of the Mean Green women's basketball team, didn't get started playing as early as some.
I didn't start playing basketball until 7th grade. My dad kind of got me into playing basketball, got me better, and kind of why I'm here today.
Another reason we find Quincy at the University of North Texas is because of the struggles college basketball placed on her. Coming out of McKinney High School as a star, she played for New Mexico University and tells of the hard time she had adapting that first year.
Freshman year, you're coming in as a freshman and you're thinking like you're hot stuff. You think you're hot stuff because like you were hot stuff in high school. Like why wouldn't you be a freshman? But you get a rude awakening because everybody's hot stuff. My freshman year in New Mexico was very, very hard for me. I'm away from home. I really didn't feel like I had anybody that was on my side. Like I didn't have like a coach I can go to have my back and just make me feel like, you know, you're gonna get through this. Like it was a very sad like time. I was with myself. Like I would go home every day and I literally would cry myself to sleep every night because like I just didn't know what it was. I didn't understand why I wasn't being the best version of myself, why I wasn't happy.
And one of the remedies to feeling alone is to find friends in your teammates.
I had some upperclassmen that I could look up to, but like, you know, they were focused on them, making sure like their last season was good or making sure they were able to get on the court this year. So like they obviously had their own goals and they couldn't, you know, babysit me.
So then Quincy finds herself in a new place with new people and yet all alone.
Now having support is hard going as an athlete. All you have is yourself. You trust these coaches as they recruit you to come into their school and you're away from home, like you're away from your people. And you're now surrounded by new people and trying to create those memories and create that atmosphere so you can thrive in. And it was very hard for me. I wasn't able to have that when I first got into college.
What Quincy said ultimately helped her find her way back to the top of her game was support that you can only find in one place.
I feel like what made it flip was obviously my first thing was I needed to go home. I needed to get back to home and get back to working on my craft so I can find out what made me lose it, what made me lose my confidence, because really it came down to losing your confidence. And I was able to find my confidence again. So I really feel like leaving New Mexico was that flip for me.
And that flip was something that ignited Noble into greatness for the Mean Green, with every game getting closer to breaking school records. Other stories from this series will be posted on our website in the coming weeks. If you want to check them out, visit northtexastelevision.com. Michelle?
Thanks, Nathan. College athletes aren't the only people facing mental health issues. ntTV's Chanel Young shares how a new program plans to combat the mental health crisis in children who have been impacted by COVID. Chanel?
That's right, Michelle. The coronavirus pandemic has taken a toll on children's mental health, and needs are at an all-time high. Emergency room visits for mental health have increased by 24% among children's ages 5 to 11 and 31% among ages 12 to 17. Nearly 80% of pediatric mental health care conditions are mild to moderate and can be treated in primary care settings, but only physicians have the proper resources. This is why Children's Health is helping launch a new program that gives patients access to mental health care through their primary care doctors. Children's Health is partnering with Meadows Mental Health Policy Institute to train pediatricians to treat kids with mild to moderate health issues. The new program is still in its early stages, but one thing is for certain: the mental health crisis is being put to the test. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Chanel. It's good to see the healthcare industry making strides to protect children. Now, Justine, you said that we could expect that warm weather to continue, but the real question is, can we expect the clear skies too?
Thanks, Michelle. Well, the clearer skies are definitely sticking around today, but as for the rest of the week, it's kind of iffy. But right now across North Texas, temperatures are pretty consistent. You see a lot of 70s. We see Gainesville 69, and then Graham 74. So lower 70s for sure. And then if you pan out and look at the weather across the state, you're seeing much more of those same temperatures, a lot of 70s. And then you see like Austin here is 78, so a little bit higher. And then it gets pretty warm when we're talking about Houston, and El Paso also is pretty warm as well at 92. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast to see what we can expect for the rest of the week. Like I said, all sunny today, but then tomorrow you should expect some clouds coming in. And then further on the week, there should be a 20% chance of rain on Wednesday. Those clouds are going to carry over to Thursday. Friday, we're going to see a little bit of sun peek through, but then we're going to go back to pretty cloudy and high chances of rain. We have a 20% chance of rain on Saturday and a 40% chance of rain on Sunday. So the clear skies, they're nice right now, but for the rest of the week, we might not see a lot of them. But that's all I have for weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Justine. Education has been hit hard these past few years, and many people who work in the education are struggling to keep up. In just the past 10 years, North Texas superintendents have made the decision to resign. ntTV's own Isabella Quintanilla has more.
Over the past 6 months, 10 superintendents across North Texas have announced their resignation, and a big part of this is due to the hardships many schools have faced over the past few years. The Fort Worth superintendent explained why he made the decision to resign, along with many others.
These last few years have been the most challenging leadership scenario that any of us have had to deal with, and it's time. I feel like I've done what I came here to do, and turn the keys over to someone else with a different skill set who can take the district from good to great.
Weekend, all the things. So when we're talking about social media,
I think that we are seeing a reflection of a challenging time in education. I think we see that with higher levels of teacher attrition, and I think the fact that we're seeing some turnover at the superintendent level is reflective of the fact that we're going through some challenging situations here in Texas.
However, some superintendents have just reached a point in their career where they're ready to move on.
People are going to be retiring. You just look around and you see the number of people that are at the end of their career, and you think, we have to step up. We have to be ready to lead. And the pandemic just kind of is coinciding with a group of people who are reaching retirement age. The problem is there's not as many people coming into the profession as there are that are able to retire from it.
As these superintendents make way for new leaders, they reflect on all they've accomplished and the impact they made in education.
I hope that the impression that I leave is that I'm someone who cares about all students and really fought for non-discrimination, that we were treating everyone with dignity and respect, that we insulated all of the political foolishness from our core mission, which is teaching students and preparing them for success beyond high school.
For ntTV News, I'm Isabella Quintanilla.
Coming up, an update on masks, mandates for public transportation.
And how many of you wear your shoes inside the house? Find out why this may be important to your health. Stay with us.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
The CDC's mask mandate was supposed to end today, but has been extended 2 weeks. Some politicians in Florida had something to say about it. A U.S. district judge in Tampa wrote a 59-page ruling that argues the CDC failed to justify its decision to extend the federal mandate for 2 more weeks. The judge claims the only way to remedy this mistake in her eyes is to ignore it, and she states that the courts have the full authority to make such decisions. But of course, masks and the ongoing COVID situation aren't the only big issues making health news tonight. Michelle, what do you have for us?
Nathan, some very concerning news tonight. The Drug Enforcement Administration is warning of an alarming uptick in overdoses caused by fentanyl. According to the DEA, 7 U.S. cities have mass experienced overdose events in the last 2 months. That means 3 or more people overdosing at the same time and the same place. The DEA says drug dealers are mixing the synthetic opioid fentanyl in with other narcotics. 1/3 of all fentanyl overdose deaths are concentrated, and one of those states is Texas. For more information and resources from the National Harm Reduction Coalition, visit harmreduction.org. Many of us wear our shoes around the house, but you may want to think twice before you do it again. Researchers with 360 Dust Analysis say leaving your shoes on inside the house could bring in potentially harmful pathogens from outside. Shoes can carry microorganisms that are drug resistant, including hospital-associated infectious germs that are difficult to treat. If you do not want to go barefoot indoors, scientists recommend buying a pair of shoes to wear indoors only. While shopping for indoor shoes, you may consider adding a nail clipper to your list. New studies show long nails could lead to fungal and bacterial-related health risks. One study found MRSA, an antibiotic-resistant bacteria that can cause serious infections right at your fingertips. Researchers say bacteria transfer can get in your fingernails from picking at skin, scratching yourself, and putting your hands in your nose or mouth.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm still recovering from that Mavericks loss. I don't know if you have any advice on how I can cure that, but I know our sports anchor, Jalen Jackson, can at least give us an update on whether they can bounce back and more. Jalen?
Thank you, guys. That's right. I'm not sure if we'll be able to bounce back, but what I do know is that we'll be dribbling around the roster to find a player to fill the place of the missing piece. Find out what that missing piece is when we come back.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Hey man, are you okay in there? You look terrible. Have you been up all night? Don't you know that according to the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, staying up all night can have a negative effect on your GPA?
Sleep?
Yeah, go to bed.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
The great Rocky Balboa once said, "Our greatest glory is not in falling, but rising every time we fall." The Mavericks are 0-1 in the series against the Utah Jazz after a 99-93 loss on Saturday for Game 1 of Round 1. Without Luka, the Mavs are trying to maneuver their way to the second round. While Luka is still doubtful for tonight's game, The Mavs are still putting up a fight, and they will give it all they have. Tonight's game will be starting at 7:30 at our very own American Airlines Center. We have a winner. Kenya's own Perez Jepchirchir has won the women's division of the Boston Marathon. This race came down to the wire with a seesaw finish between Jepchirchir and Ethiopia's Abubel Yassine. They traded the lead 8 times before Jepchirchir pulled ahead for the last 385 yards. She finished in 2 hours, 21 minutes, and 1 second, winning by 4 seconds. This was also the 50th anniversary of the Boston Marathon's women division. 2 weeks left in the season, and the Bulldogs have grabbed us out of the sky. The Mean Green softball team have lost their first series of the season to the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. The first game, we took the easy win 8-2, but the Bulldogs showed us they weren't the ones to be played with and won the second game 9-3. The last game was a fight until the end. The game ended 6-5 with the Bulldogs win for that night and a Bulldogs win for the series. Now, this isn't the end of the world. This isn't the end of the world for the Mean Green. They still have 2 more conference series left and a whole lot more fight. For the meantime, their next game will be this Thursday at Lovelake Stadium at 6:30. That's it for sports tonight. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jalen. Yesterday, President Biden hosted his first Easter egg roll at the White House. This is the first time since 2019 that this event was hosted due to the COVID pandemic.
The theme this year was education and had activities centered around learning. Both POTUS and FLOTUS were there to entertain the many kids. Jimmy Fallon even made an appearance to read a story on stage with President Biden.
Over 30,000 people attended this 142nd Easter egg roll.
I didn't get to do an Easter egg hunt, Nathan, yesterday. I'm kind of upset. Did you at least get to do one?
No, I didn't, but I really wanted to go and use those confetti eggs.
Oh my gosh, yes, that would have been fun. I don't know if they would have had that at the White House, though.
True.
Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow night at 6 here on North Texas Television.